Hello, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm teacher Oakley, and in this class we are going to continue our series of 4 classes in a row at this specific time this week here on Verbling, looking at the TOEFL listening exam. Okay. Yesterday was basically an overview talking about the format and basic strategy and note-taking. Today, we are going to focus on practicing. We're going to walk through nice and slow with a transcript. Look at what this TOEFL listening thing is all about. Kind of analyze our attack on the questions, and then we'll try a second practice listening and try actually answering some TOEFL listening questions today. So practice. Focus specifically on the conversations. Tomorrow we're going to look specifically at the interviews. Today, conversations. These conversations, pardon me, these conversations will most likely almost always be involving a student, perhaps 2 students talking about a problem. Perhaps it'll be a service encounter, a student talking to a librarian about getting a library card or getting a student discount at a store, some kind of service encounter. Or it can be perhaps a couple of students talking about an event. Did you hear they're putting a new sculpture up on the green in front of the administrative building? Really? What are they doing that for? That kind of thing. Basically, that's it. Those are the 3 types of conversations you will hear, always having something to do with academic life, university life. In any case, so there's not exactly a wide range. You kind of know basically what to expect before you hear a thing. Awfully thirsty. Again, I remind everyone, couple points before we get started. Do not ignore the narrator. He will give you salient points. He will give you points that are valuable to you, vocabulary words, even synonyms. He will say things that may be useful for you. So don't ignore the narrator. And secondly, be prepared, be ready, because sometimes the listening material will come right out of the gate shooting, so to speak. Meaning to say that the answers to questions might come in the first, or the first somebody speaks and somebody responds and there's an answer already. So you got to be focused, ready to go when the bell rings. Okay. Where is everyone today? Everyone's late for every class today. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna. I'll start without you. I don't care. All right. I'm kind of. Oh, here we go. Okay. Hello, Giovanni. Welcome to the class. Hello. Can't hear you yet. Uh-oh. Blah, blah, I'm talking. Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. Giovanni, you may have to cut out and come back again. I suspect he will be right back immediately. In the meantime, others out there, don't be shy. Come on into the class. Waiting a second here for Giovanni to come in, and we'll get started walking through a conversation in the TOEFL listening test so you can see what the conversation will look like. We're going to look at a transcript first of all, and then look at the questions. Giovanni? I heard something. Hello, hello?
Hi. Hello.
There,
Can you hear me
there we
now?
go. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry, but I I have opened the wrong web browser. I don't know why, but in Safari, Verbling doesn't work.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah, it's okay. It's happened to me before. No, not a problem. Okay. We're going to look at TOEFL listening in conversation. Right off the bat, I'm going to do a screen share. We're going to kind of go through a transcript here together so we can kind of get an idea. Right off the bat, actually, the screen is going to show you a picture like this, which actually, don't ignore this picture. Sometimes this picture will have clues about the topic and related things. For example, in a lecture, maybe there'll be a picture of a professor standing in front of a whiteboard with 2 or 3 of the words he will be using in the lecture, the keywords, things like that. So don't ignore this. There will be clues, okay? You're going to look at it. You're going to hear, look at today, but great. It's going to be a conversation between a man and a woman. Guess what it's going to be about? Ooh, do you think it might be about developmental biology? Aha, maybe a paper he's writing. Aha. So, okay. Start thinking immediately. In other words, this will also help you get your focus. It will also jumpstart your brain into starting to think about predicting what's going to happen. Play a little game with yourself. Start predicting now, as soon as you see the picture, before anything happens. Okay, you're going to see the picture. All right, a narrator will announce you are now going to listen to a conversation between 2 students. Okay, we're going to look at the transcript so we can kind of go slow and analyze their style, what they're doing, how they talk. Okay. Giovanni, it's just you and me, looks like, so we can come back to this if we have to. I know it's hard to fully digest everything they're saying when you're reading it, but if you wouldn't mind helping me out, could you read the part of the male student, MS?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, my student, I can't believe it. Professor Blake gave me a C on my biology test.
Of course he did. You only answered 80% of the questions, right? Next time, maybe you should consider studying without the television on.
But I wasn't watching it. I really was paying attention to my notes and the book and stuff. I'm just the sort of person who needs white noise in the background in order to concentrate. I mean, I'm usually good at biology.
Oh, my sister says she's like that.
Okay, so you know what I mean? If I'm in the middle of a quiet room, every little noise is distracting. It's like it's magnified. I mean, amplified. Whether if the radiator starts making little noise. Sorry, teacher. Whether
Yeah.
I need to pronounce. I'm probably wrong with it.
Whatever. Okay.
Whatever. Ah, sorry. Whatever.
Whatever. Okay, they're going to use these little distractors. Okay, he screws up the word. It's like magnified. I mean amplified. Oh, whatever. If the radiator starts making little noises, okay, so they will. This is a nonsense sentence. Obviously, there's not going to be questions about it. It has nothing to do with anything. Okay. Whatever. Okay. All right, we'll continue. Hello, Ken.
Yes, hello. Sorry. Hello. How are you?
Hello. Okay, we're looking at a transcript of a listening TOEFL listening test. So we're kind of in the middle of it. You just pay attention. We'll continue.
Okay.
Boy, how old is the heating system in these old dorm rooms anyway? Huh? Okay. Again, Giovanni. Again,
Oh, sorry.
more nonsense,
Yeah.
distractive information. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, really? Yeah, really? Or someone's having a conversation in the hall and it comes in through the door. I just start fixating on it.
I get that, but it's a good idea to use Is it a good idea to use the television for white noise? Don't you get distracted if something funny comes on, or interesting?
Sometimes, I guess. But most of the time, I can focus just fine, I think.
All right, but though, you can use other things to drown out noises. Like my sister, I'm not making this up, she had an old fan, and it made kind of a hum sound when she ran it.
These old fans do.
Right? A steady, kind of rhythmic, not loud, and it turned out that if she put it on, it was soft enough that she could think and loud enough that the little distracting stuff in the background, like, she couldn't hear it.
I just bought my fan new this year. It's the quiet kind.
Well, sure, I was, just giving an example. In our psychology course last year, didn't they say that tuning the radio into static is okay too? I mean, for people who need white noise.
Static on the radio? You know the hissing sound that makes? I never get any work done.
Well, that's if you have it at normal volume. With trial and error, you might be able to make it softer so it doesn't annoy you, but loud enough to drown out other stuff.
Ooh.
Like my sister's fan.
I guess.
It has to be better than television. Just look at that biology score again.
Don't make me, please. Yeah, I mean, you may be right. I'll see how it works studying without the television.
Ooh, something else I just thought of.
What?
Well, you were talking about the radiator, and I think, I don't remember which class it was, but we were told that people find it harder to concentrate when they're in a warm room. It helps if the temperature is a little on the cool side. Sharpens your concentration.
I do get drowsy, I don't know this word, when the radiator's on full blast. But the radiators in our rooms aren't very easy to control. It's not surprising after they've been used so many years, but...
I'm with you there. You could always try cracking the window, though. Or maybe wearing fewer layers of clothing. Might be a little uncomfortable, but it's your grades we're talking about after all. Okay, and that word, by the way, was drowsy. Drowsy.
And the meaning is?
Sleepy.
Ah.
Okay, let's look at the questions. All right, very super common question. It will be the question when it's a problem conversation, which, again, there's only really 3 types of conversation. No, actually, it may also be the question when it's a service encounter as well. This is a super common question. Okay. Okay. Well, Ken didn't catch the whole thing. Giovanni, what is the man's problem?
Okay. So here there are, for me to answer, that could fit, but one is the best. So the A and the C, because they are both true, but the main problem because they start to talk is that because he failed the biology test, so he obtained not a good score. So I think that A is the correct. He was unable to concentrate during the biology test, and then start to talk about that he's distracted by noise while studying, but this is a consequence, I think. So the problem is the biology test for me.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for explaining your logic there. Very good. All right. So, to reiterate a little bit, television is broken is just a stupid answer. There will quite often be a stupid answer. He mentions his television, but it's not broken. Also, you very quickly eliminated B. Very good. You need to use process of elimination in this exam. Absolutely. He said even not only did he never say he had a hard time understanding biology, he actually said the opposite, I'm usually good at biology. So, great. You eliminated B. You're stuck with A and C. Now, you are going to choose A because it's more specific. But think about it. He was unable to concentrate. Okay, now here's something very, very subtle, Giovanni, and something you can watch for. So this is now you're about to learn something of value. Right now, let me explain something. This question is what is the man's problem?
No.
Yes. And
Oh my God.
Answer A says he was unable. Uh-huh. Now you see it, don't you? You see it, right?
Yes. Now I'm able to see.
Yeah, of course. So, okay, this is great. Recognizing their devious tricks and traps is really key to being successful in this exam. This is one of them right here. Watch the verb tense of the question in comparison to the answers. Thus, we can quite easily eliminate A, and we've got C. Okay. All right, so that's very important. There's one of their little tricks. Okay. Also, in addition, even if you were unable to catch that, Giovanni, I just have to add that usually if you're stuck, and this is not just in listening, also in reading, if you're stuck, if you're really, really, really stuck between two answers in this TOEFL exam, I would advise, my advice would be, it isn't always good advice, but more often than not, I think more than 50% of the time, and probably closer to 80% of the time, choose the more general answer of the two you're stuck with. I think you'd be right about 80% of the time. Okay? In just as a general, very general rule of thumb, and I know it's a horrible generalization, but there it is. Okay. Let's continue. Ken, let's look at number 2.
Number 2. What has the man been using to create white noise? Maybe not radiator, can? Radiator. Noise from radiator.
Okay.
I just browsed the text. I don't know.
Yeah, you came in a little late. I think you actually missed this part. I think I should not have asked you this. All right, I'll come back to you. All right. Okay. Ken was not here when he came in after this part. Giovanni, do you remember?
No.
No?
I remember the sister that radiator. No, the fan was the sister. The radio was the radio was the last suggestion, but I was not so happy of this, so if I need to exclude this television.
What you're down to? You're very correctly using process of elimination. The fan was the sister, right? The radio was the last suggestion, or one of the suggestions he didn't really care for. So, what is your guess? B or C?
B was deleted by Ken, so.
Okay. Okay. Again, the questions. What? Always very important to catch the verb tense. Has been using. So before now, before this conversation, what did he use to create white noise? Okay. So sometimes, you won't actually see the question, you will only hear it. So also really kind of focus on listening to the verb tense in the question when they don't actually give it to you. Okay, well, let's take another look here. It is right in the beginning, which is why I said Ken probably didn't hear it. Okay. Right in the beginning. In fact, generally, when you have a conversation, when you're conversation listening, the guy says something, whatever, he introduces the conversation. It is not always, of course, but very frequently the next speaker will give an answer immediately with the first thing they say. This happens a lot. Maybe they'll clarify what the problem is. Maybe, as in this case, they'll give a different answer. This happens a lot. So that's why I always tell people, be on your toes. When this exam starts, you're going to hear, it's a very good chance you're going to hear an answer immediately. Okay. So what did he use? Well, next time maybe you should consider studying without the television on. And then he talks about it. I wasn't watching it. I need white noise in the background. And then she talks about, oh yeah, my sister's like that. Okay. She even mentioned something about, it's a good idea. Is it a good idea? She questions it. Is it? Okay, here again. Listening for connectives like but, because, however, so. All right. Is it a good idea to use the television for white noise? She's questioning what he has already done. So there you go. The answer is television. Another clue, sometimes, okay, another possible strategy. Sometimes they will give you clues for other questions by including information. See how this stupid answer for number 1 actually is the answer for number 2? If you really don't have an idea, look around at the other questions or think about what keywords the other questions used. Sometimes they do that. The reason that they have this trap answer here in 1 is because the television is important in the conversation. Okay, so there's a second chance strategy for you. Sometimes if you don't have a clue, other keywords of answers in other questions. Okay, occasionally you will see this on your screen. And the narrator will say, listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question. Okay, so you would hear this over again. They do this quite a few times during the exam. So you hear it again. I just bought my fan new this year. It's the quiet kind. And the female student says, well, sure, I was, just giving an example. When they replay part of the lecture or part of the conversation, this is the question. What did the person mean by this? Okay, so.
Sorry, my computer
Yeah. And now you're sounding all robotic. Well, hopefully...
It's crazy. I lost the connection.
It's crazy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it is. It is crazy. Okay, well, you stepped out. Ken, let's... What do you got here? What did the woman means by this? What do you think? Use your process of elimination.
She's misunderstood that is not specifically recommended the use of phone. She thought the man had different kind of phone. She had found the man can use. D.
D as in dog?
Yeah.
He is a man. She's a man. The fan can use. Sorry, she is a fan. The man can use. Oops. Okay. Really? Just
No.
giving an example.
What do you know, Jessica? She was maybe B. She was not specifically recommending the use of phone.
Okay, Giovanni, what do you think?
I think the number B. She was not specifically recommending the use of a fan because she said, I was, just giving an example. So not recommending.
Not recommending, right. As opposed to just, when we use just in English, I was just doing this as opposed to something else. Often we use just in that way. That's correct. All right. Not to mention the whole thing is about her making different suggestions of things he can use to create white noise. I mean, that's the whole conversation. So obviously, she's not specifically recommending a fan because she talked about 3 other things at least that he can use. So obviously not. We can also use logic to figure out these answers. Okay. Next one, Giovanni. Why does the woman suggest the man keep his window open?
What does the man suggest? The man keep his window open. It can become for less clothing. The air from the fan may be too warm. The noise from outside. It's about the D. People study better in cool rooms.
Yeah, the whole idea.
Cool is cold. No.
Cool is cold. Cool is kind of cold. Like warm is kind of hot. Yeah. Okay. Well, Ken, what do you think? You heard this part of the conversation.
Maybe it's about temperature. If it is too warm, it cannot be concentrate. It cannot concentrate. So
that was the idea.
Yeah, people study better in a cool room. So the air from the fan may be too warm, which is yeah.
Okay. And okay, even if you're all right, even if you're stuck with B and D, well, wait a minute. The air from the fan?
Oh,
wait a minute.
Fan from the air conditioner.
Right. The fan is only going to blow around air. It's not going to create warm or cold air. That's not what a fan does.
So B is not the option.
B is not an option because a fan doesn't create warm air. She was talking about his heater or whatever. She was telling him to adjust his heater, but he said it's hard to adjust. So she told him to open the window, keep it cool. Right. You got to think about, there may be different steps to the conversation, but ultimately, you always got to ask yourself when you read these questions, ultimately, why is she suggesting? Not the immediate, but, okay, all the questions are going to point toward the main problem. The guy can't study without white noise. So everything sort of points to that. So recognizing that as the problem, the question number 1, everything kind of points to that. So everything they suggest or everything they talk about is going to be pointing toward that goal, figuring out his problem there. Okay, basically. So even this one, even though, what did the woman mean by this? All right, she's recommending many things so he can have some white noise. People study better in cool rooms. Okay, all right, well, so he can study better. All right, so he can study better is the problem, I guess. All right, let's look at the last one. Ken. Ken, go ahead and read that for me, if you would.
What do the speakers imply is the major problem with the heating system? Heating system. Maybe making maybe kind of loud to the noise it makes it too loud to drown out.
Okay. Giovanni, what do you think?
I think, I remember that he said that he wasn't able to control it because it was old. So I'm not sure between the A and B, but probably B, because confusing probably is not confusing, but doesn't work properly. So I think just the B is very old.
Yeah, and if we actually take a quick look here at the bottom here, I think, yeah, he implies it. Okay, again, wherever TOEFL asks for an inference, and they do this in listening and reading, it's what you have to infer or guess is not even really a guess. It's just it has to be 100%. This goes for reading as well. So what he actually says, he doesn't say the word old. He says it's not surprising after they've been used so many years. So it's easy to infer it's been used many years, it must be old. Not exactly a major leap in logic. Pretty straightforward. If so, if one, then the other has to be true. Okay, so, okay, that's very much detail question. Okay, definitely very detailed there. That one could be very difficult if you didn't get it. Hard to logic out these inference questions if you don't catch the point. If you didn't catch it, but all right, Giovanni, you got it. Giovanni, you did very well. I think you only missed the first one, the silly verb tense thing, right?
This kind of part is my best part in the TOEFL. I've tried the TOEFL one time and I did 27 on 30 on this one.
Oh, that's great.
But the problem was in reading, I obtained 23. And
writing?
I'm sorry, in reading, the first part.
Okay.
So okay. I hope that I'm now more skilled after your lessons of last week.
Okay, I hope so.
I've learned a lot of Greek.
Yeah, tricks. It is all tricks. That's the thing. It's not even about, okay, for anyone who's viewing or watching this video, it's not really about your having superior English knowledge and skill. Really, it's about understanding TOEFL tricks. So true. Sad but true. Okay. Once again, I remind you, we're going on to another section. And once again, you looking at your computer screen, and it looks like this, obviously. What can we infer? Just jumpstart our brain, start thinking about this, what's going to happen. Ken, what do you think this will probably be?
I think she's in kind of university's office.
Yeah.
and to talk about or discuss something about
Yep.
a degree or a course or whatever.
Or who knows? But yeah. Okay. All right. We might infer that. We might be wrong. We might be right. But at least we're starting our brains thinking. Okay, gentlemen. Now it's guinea pig time. If we have to, I can go to the transcript on this. I'm going to attempt to actually play the audio. Okay. So I will play a little part, and then I will ask you if you guys could actually hear and understand it. So give me just a second while you look at this silly picture. Just a sec. Okay, now here we go. Okay, can you guys hear that? Hello?
Yes.
Oh yes, I
You,
hear
but
your voice.
You hear my
your
voice?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, you hear me. Could you hear the audio at all? Or no?
No.
No.
No, didn't work. Failure. Okay.
Don't know
My
if
stupid idea.
is it a link or something
What
that
is it?
you have. Is it a link, a web link?
I know I can't put it on a link, and I can't put it on a Verbling link because it's a WMA file, and they won't play here, or they won't. I can't transfer them in Verbling. I don't know why, but it's a little bit of a problem. So you can't hear this at all. 1, 2, 3. You really can't hear this.
I can very, very far away.
No, you guys can't hear that.
Very kind of distant.
Oh wait, let me try. Oh, I forgot to adjust something. Hey, I'm an idiot. Wait a minute. Let me try something. Hang on. One more try, and then we'll just go to the transcript. Okay, could you hear it that time?
No,
Not
very
really.
little. Yeah, no.
All right.
Volume is very low.
Okay, never mind. All right, let me hang on a second, and we'll look at the transcript again. Tomorrow we'll do lectures, and I'll do my university lecture impression. So it doesn't really matter because I can always I can do lectures. I'm fully qualified. Okay. Turn my air conditioner back on. All right, let's take a look at another another conversation. All right, first the narrator. Listen to a conversation at a university guidance office. Okay, Ken, would you mind doing this with me? You can do the man thing. I'll be the woman. Excuse me. Are you Dr. Martin?
I'm Greg Martin, and I don't think there are any other Martin in the office. But I'm nutritionist, not a doctor.
Nutritionist.
Nutritionist.
Oh, sorry. I guess I was confused. The doctor at the Student Health Center told me I should see you because I need an allergy test. I was hoping I'd be able to make an appointment.
Sure.
I would have called, but I was right here, so I figured I'd stop in and...
No problem at all. Since your life hasn't come to me from student health
Well, not your life, your file.
a file.
Oh, right. I mean, I just left there, so you wouldn't have it yet. I'll come back.
Well, no, actually, if you have a minute, I give you a general explanation of what we are going to ask you to do. I can't actually give you instructions specific to your case without looking at your file, but there's a basic idea.
Okay, can I?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Please have a seat here.
Thanks. I thought they tested for allergies by injecting you with things.
Sometimes, in case of food allergies, where your symptoms aren't life-threatening, it's more helpful to check by adjusting your diet.
Uh-huh. So what do I have to do?
As I said, it's going to depend on what your doctor's written in your file for me. But there are two major kinds of dietary tests for food allergies. One is an elimination diet. We'll use that if your doctor is pretty stamped about what's causing your problem. For weeks, you have to eat bland diet, just food that we know are safe. That's pretty certain to eliminate the offending food.
A few weeks?
Well, it can make a while for the food you eat to clear out of your system. We want a totally blank canvas because then what we do is one by one you add in foods that a lot of people have allergies to.
Oh, I get it. And then if my symptoms come back, we know what food must be doing it.
It's not always the exact, but the idea. But that's the idea.
Well, okay, but what's the other test? You said there were two.
The other test is more a spot test. If your doctor knows from your symptoms that there are only a few foods that are likely culprits, you'll stop eating just those foods for a week or so. Then you'll eat one of them on an empty stomach, and we'll wait to see whether your symptoms come back.
Okay.
But as I said, the test is really only useful if your doctor's already got a pretty good sense of what your problem might be.
Uh, well, it sounds like it's a lot easier to go through. So, I'm hoping.
Of course, let me look at my schedule and see whether I have a slot open on. Friday maybe. Your doctor should have gotten your information to me by then.
Uh, okay. What are the questions here? Oh, no, the answers. Okay, hang on a second. I forgot where. Oh, stupid me. Oh, here we go. Where are you? You're here somewhere. Okay, practice drills. Here we go. Okay, the questions. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Okay, as always, again, as I mentioned, when it's a problem conversation or a service conversation, this is a service conversation, by the way. What is the purpose or what is the problem is the first question. Okie dokie. Giovanni, you got to listen to our nonsense. Let me quickly welcome Hafiz to the class. Hafiz, hello. Welcome. Hafiz? Hafiz or Hafiz? Hello? Okay, unable to hear you. Hafiz. Okay. You might have to leave the class and come right on back, Hafiz. Okay, Giovanni. Why
Okay.
is the woman? How dare the
Okay.
woman speak to the man? No, actually, that's not the question.
Unfortunately, all the answers are in the present. So I can.
Unfortunately, that very funny. Yes.
But okay, she cannot decide which test to use. It's not true because it's something that happened after she entered. So she was not here to decide the test, but
Mhm.
uh, uh, she needs to set an appointment.
Okay. So the first one, okay, that we can easily eliminate. Exactly. You've got to consider the time and when are things true. So this is one of the complicated, but definitely the main aspects of the listening test. Why is she speaking to the man? That means when she comes in. So she doesn't even know that there's two tests. That's right. So Giovanni's logic is very good, and it illustrates the idea that there is a timeline in the conversation which will be referred to in the questions. So yes, you're absolutely right. D, we can easily eliminate. Obviously, she hasn't even taken the allergy test yet, so how could she get the results? That's equally insane. She's supposed to receive an injection. Again, she thought that was part of the test. Yeah, we can easily eliminate everything but C, fairly easily, just simply by knowing the timeline. Okay. Good job, Giovanni. All right, Ken, let's have you try number 2 here.
Okay, why must the man wait to give the woman's instruction? I think C. He hasn't received half hour yet.
Okay. Did he try to get in touch with the doctor?
He can, but not now, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember him ever trying. She hasn't been on her special diet. Has she been on a special diet? Not yet. She's just finding out about that. So that again, timeline. He hasn't observed her symptoms. Well, right. Okay. Yeah, the answer is C. It's very clearly C. He has no idea what's going on because he doesn't have her file, which they discuss in the beginning. Okay. Once again, by the way, just to point it out, why is the woman speaking to the man? Again, if you remember, okay, we don't have the transcript. Again, it was literally the second sentence where that was announced. So, once again, please listen carefully right from the beginning. All right, Giovanni, how about number 3?
Why is the elimination test more difficult? It must be performed this is more dangerous. Your reaction makes more time and effort to replace injections. Now, I need to be honest. I forgot a little part when you are reading, but
Yeah.
now I will try to use some tricks to answer.
Okay, very good.
So I have no idea, but injection was in the previous answer. It was one of the possible answer. It could be an answer here, or
okay, yes.
so it could be one. Then let me think. Other things that I can use is the more difficult, but the first there is why if something could be the A makes no sense for me. Why something is difficult because it's to do in another bit. It's not that difficult.
Okay, just it's not logical. Okay.
It's not logical.
All right.
So the other 3 could be, but can have something related.
Okay.
Check the answers. So between these 3, I will use injection just because I found this word previously.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay. I follow your logic. Ken?
I think C
What do you think?
more time and effort.
Okay. And why do you think that?
because maybe he stopped eating a lot of diet at the beginning, and and doctor test her body, which food causing allergy.
Yeah, this is the one where she has to eat bland food for weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Elimination. Okay, I could use the word elimination too to understand that you need to eliminate food.
yeah, right. Eliminate food. Right. So although I do like your logic, Giovanni, and it was actually, if you're going to guess, it was good logic to make a guess. Frankly, if you totally missed it, I would have done the same thing, actually. Right, but if you can remember, this is the pain in the neck one, which the thing that sticks in my mind, the whole bland food for. So, yeah, there was. Surprisingly, they never really said anything about danger or serious reactions. And they're talking about, the topic is, of course, allergies. So I noticed that by its omission. I was predicting it in the conversation, but it never came up. I know that they started right from the beginning, and this may happen to you too. As you're listening, okay, they start talking about addiction, blah, blah, blah. I expect somebody to mention violent reactions or skin rashes or symptoms, but no one ever does. So, okay, it's worth mentioning that sometimes if you're being predictive, sometimes things are noticeable by their absence. So I would get rid of B pretty quickly because it wasn't there, and I kind of was trying to be predictive as I was listening, and I kept predicting it, and it never came. And so that fact would maybe help me out a little bit on that last question. Okay, let's look at another one here.
One question, sorry, teacher.
Sure. No problem.
So, what do you suggest in order to write correctly the notes? To be focused on the thing related to the topic, or to note the all the sfumatures, I say, all the shadows, all the little particles, or just the
well, there's
meaning?
the little details are hard. First of all, the first question. Okay, again, they're going to say it within the first 4 sentences. So, why? Why are they having a conversation? Concentrate on that first and foremost. It's going to be a question. You're going to have that question like 6 times during the test, minimum. Okay, well, 4 or 5 times, however many conversations there are at least. Although they ask why questions in the lecture too. Okay. All right. Listen carefully for, again, people always signal what they're going to say. Even more so in the lecture. All right, the lecture is done in an academic fashion, so really listen for my first point is. Another point is, the best example of this can be found, these kinds of phrases, which are a lot actually easier to pick out in the lecture. However, they still do it in the conversation. Okay, so all right, she's speaking to him about figuring out how to go about taking her allergy tests, and you know, again, just as you go along taking notes, just really keywords. Anytime they mention a number, there are 2 tests. All right, they mention it like 3 times. There are 2 possible things. I am definitely going to write down the numbers 1 and 2, and I'm going to make damn sure I know what those tests are. 1, elimination test. 2, spot test. That would for sure be in my notes. My notes may consist of the word allergies, 1, elimination test, 2, spot test. That may be my entire notes, frankly. I'm going to concentrate on focusing on listening, predicting what they're going to say, and listening to what they say. Really, my notes are minimal. Anything they numerize with numbers is going to be important. in the earlier exercise, of course, all the reasons, all the possibilities of making white noise, okay? So I would have 1, fan, 2, radio, 3, whatever, open window, dash, cool. That would be my entire notes. You may miss some of the more specific information questions by doing that, but on the other hand, 4 out of 5 questions are always going to be about the general idea and the number, how the different possibilities of whatever. There's always some number of things that they're describing in the TOEFL test. So 1, 2, 3, 4, you got those, you're going to do well. Okay, anyway, Ken, all right, as opposed to the old elimination test. Okay, number 4.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. When can the spot test described by the man be used? I think D, when the doctor has some idea of the cause of the allergy.
Okay. Giovanni, what do you think?
So, C.
C.
Or D. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. C or D. Okay. Well, just purely logic. Doctors don't care about how much time a patient has. You know, doctors don't really mind if they have to give you 3,000 tests and make you wait 1.5 years for the results. They could care less. So I would eliminate C just from okay, logic, experience. I don't know. Actually, the answer is D. Okay, think about also, Giovanni, the spot test. What is a spot? It's a direct point. It's a specific thing. You put a spotlight on something specific.
Yes.
Yeah, so, okay. Answer D has more to do with something specific.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, logic is your friend for sure. So also, when you get names of things, think about what that name implies. Okay, and last one, Giovanni, before we call it a day.
Okay. What will the woman do next? Get her files from the student tent, tell the man when she can meet next, when she is elated, start the diet elimination test. So, tell the man when she can meet next because they fixed an appointment or something similar, if I remember correctly. At the end of the on Friday something.
Yeah, they're making an appointment. Yeah, exactly. We can eliminate other answers. She can't start the diet. She hasn't even talked to the doctor yet. So they haven't seen the file. They can't start a diet. They haven't even figured out anything what to do yet. So it can't be D. So, and it's that means that if D doesn't work, then C doesn't work. It makes no sense. And they're going to send her file over, so she doesn't need to get her file. So that doesn't make sense either. Yeah, the only possible answer left is B. Again, process of elimination, absolutely. Consider the logic of it, and there you go. Yeah, the answer is actually B. Okay, tomorrow, lecture. I will be your guest lecturer. And I will give you plenty of opportunity to answer questions in a lecture type scenario. Okay, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Giovanni, Ken, thank you. See you next time.
Thanks.